So good evening, everyone from the Bay Area. So nice to see you all. And today we are covering this topic, building a second brain, basically building a guide to documentation for your org. And I'm your host, Shiva Tukral, community leader of San Ramon admin group. So little introduction about myself. I'm 11 times certified. My latest certifications was business analyst and associate. So if you want to seek any help about the resources for that, you can reach out to me and I can help you with that. I'm 5 times ranger, user group leader. I was a mentor, 2 times Dreamforce presenter. I presented in Dreamforce 22 and 21. And today we are covering a guide to documentation. Basically, we'll cover the tools, resources, templates, and in the end, please feel free to ask questions, and we can also have a quiz. And before I forget, let me open a little poll. All right, I'm launching the poll. Please answer the questions. Are you able to see the poll?
Yeah, we can see.
Okay.
Can see it. Yeah.
All of you should try to participate. We've had 10 so far. And please mute yourself if you're not speaking, if you're not talking to us in the meeting. Amma, can you mute everyone, please? I'll give you the co-host.
Yeah, sure.
Or I'll do it. I'll have to make it. Oops. So did everyone? I still have 6 more people to go. So I will end poll now. And I'll share the results. So the audience profile, we have 56% administrators, 50% developers, 38% consultants, and 50% are from America area, and 42 Epic, and 8 other. And what's your favorite tool, documentation tool? Oops. Okay, here, I'm stop sharing this one. Notepad, quick, view more answers, Confluence, Excel, Notion, Google Doc. That's what the responses are. Going back to my slide. Basically, now I'll share this Notion document, which talks about guide to documentation. And before that, I want to make Amma the host. I made you the co-host, Amma. So starting off, as you know, in our org, we have so many documents. We do so many processes. We do so many implementations, but there's no there's no record of it. Sometimes we fail to record all the click paths, all the steps that we took to create an implementation. And then 6 months down the line, we realize, and if we come across the same process, we miss that that we never recorded this click path, we never recorded how we did it. And hence we have lost all that knowledge and experience. And therefore, documentation is extremely important so that you can come back and you can preserve your knowledge and share with others. You can help with onboarding, training, and troubleshooting. So why is documentation important? Can someone open the mic and share with me? If someone wants to share, I want to make it interactive. So if someone wants to open the mic or raise their hand, or in the chat, you can share with us.
So based on my experience, if we are not documenting the processes, we may forget. Even the developer will forget the processes in future. So we are frequently documenting whatever we develop.
Exactly. So why documentation is important is that we can understand the current org state. As already stated, it also helps with troubleshooting. If somebody has an issue relating the process, you can forward that documentation and they can follow, and it's a big time saver. It's also a basis for future development and doubles as a training material. And so why isn't every org documented? Does anyone have any opinions on that?
It's hard to document an org.
Yeah, so that's also right. And the other thing is people don't think they implement the process and they just say, that's it, I did it, and end of the story. But so they don't have time, it's someone else's job, it takes extra time. Will I get the credit for it? Will I get any extra money for it? There's many thoughts that go around why they don't document. But they don't understand the value that 6 months down the line, they are the ones who would benefit the most. And if they don't, then they will basically lose that experience and knowledge. So also, they don't know where to start. It's too expensive. So I have accumulated inspiration from several sources to understand how to start, where to start. So you need to plan, just get down to write anything. It could be a rough draft. And first time is always rough draft, then go back to revise your draft, edit, and then publish. So that's how.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Does Salesforce or Trailhead provide any tools or tips on how to do documentation? Because documentation should be, I would think documentation is it should be a huge piece of any implementation. Yet I've done none and I haven't really heard of any. I'm just curious.
Yes, later here I will share with you the various tools for documentation. Some of them are from Salesforce. So Elements Cloud, it's native to Salesforce. It's a paid app, but when you install it, it really helps with that. Then there's something called Configuration Workbook, which draws all the data from your org. So all the metadata, for instance, the objects, the fields, the validation rules, the processes, all those things from your org, and it just spits it out as a Excel file, and you can go on maintaining that. And then, of course, so this Elements Cloud, Metazoa, all these are, I'm not endorsing any of them, but they are available for usage. Most popular ones are, of course, Lucid Chart. Some people document in Google Sheet, even PowerPoint. And then there is, there's some, Salesforce brought out this new architect diagrams, portal where you have a lot of templates that you can actually start with your documentation with those. So diagramming is a great way to document. A good flow chart or diagram can speak a lot about the process that you have created. So that architect portal, which I have actually pasted, I have added that link here. I will share this document with you. Is a great starting point for documentation if you are doing flows or templating as a starting point for the, for your chart or flow charts. So other thing is business case for the value of documentation. I hope that answered your question. Was it okay? So business case for the value of documentation is basically these 3 points: troubleshooting, training time, and accelerated development schedule. So I have had several times, I have, you cannot memorize as per Tiago Fort. I also got inspiration from him for documentation. The brain is not meant to preserve knowledge. You're supposed to create new things. If you use your brain just to preserve things, it's not good usage. So basically, you want to document your knowledge so that you can go back to it and repeat that process. So that part of it is already documented and you can implement it, and then you can add to it. So there's several times I've had to do that. So accelerated development schedules, there's a research done that says that you save so much time and money. So there's actually a dollar attached to it, that you save so much time and money for all these different processes. And the number of, for instance, analyzing a process builder is 10 to 30 minutes. Examining a flow is 15 to 30 minutes. So in all, you basically over time save a lot in terms of dollar terms. Then troubleshooting is definitely the expected behavior, how it's designed to work, what's supposed to do, and actual behavior. Well, what is the user doing? What is actually happening? So it helps to, documenting helps to troubleshoot. So many times stakeholders have come to me and asked me how to do this. Do I put ID on top of URL, and how does that work? So if you have documented all those simple processes in 2 to 3 minute videos, you can reference to that, and they can just go through it, and it's really helpful because a video is, you can just go on playing and it registers very well for everyone. So basically, as a team, you help your team. And the training time. So basically, new user training. So
excuse me, Shiba.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry for interrupt. Someone put in the chat to enlarge the screen.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
So yeah. So training time, basically new user training. So things are typical to your department, your group, you have documented for your own group. So a lot of processes that your group has already gone through. You have a previous repository of it. It helps to for the new users to catch up with that, for the new release, and then refresher training. So there's all these time and dollar amounts associated with that. And what kind of documentation should I have in my org is the other question that comes up. So the question that comes is, what should I document? I do my normal day-to-day work. Should I document each step of it? What do I do? Like, how do I document? So the things to document is your org customization. So every time you execute a functionality, if there's a new feature, you can document that. So this was a configuration workbook I was talking about. It's available in App Exchange. It's a paid app. It says like its rating is really high. It says $50 USD per org. sandbox or production per month. And I've personally used this and I found it really helpful for mapping, say, user requirements. And it's just like your running document that you can use for every client. So that's, and then documentation for users. So it could be release notes. So we know that Salesforce has new release 3 times. There's a release for Salesforce. So we need to have release notes, and then there's a particular template that's there for even release notes. So your whole department can feel very updated with any of the new features that are coming up. And if you share with them that document, it's really helpful for your team. And then user how-to is my favorite, because Salesforce is all about automation and problem solving. So if somebody has solved a problem or has done some great development in the org, then you definitely don't want to lose that. And you definitely want to share with everyone and actual steps on how they did it. So Salesforce is all about, sharing your knowledge and helping each other. And if you have done it, it's a great kudos to that person, and then it needs to be recorded and shared with all. So, and of course, the process diagrams is really the core of it. If there's a flow, you would love to have a lucid chart which is where actually you start off and then you keep on improving and adding on. Business processes, automated processes, that's really the core for documentation. Then considerations about documentation. Who are your audience? What is their knowledge level, experience level? What are they really interested in? Are they beginners, advanced? Where will it be consumed? And what format should you use? Those are the considerations that you have to think about before documenting, before presenting the documentation to your audience. Then documentation types. This is native to Salesforce, as Louis, you just mentioned. So you definitely have to make it like mandatory for people to fill the description fields. And what's typically you can include in those description fields is who requested this field, what's the purpose of the field, who or what does it support, and where is it used, and how is it populated. So what I do is I mention the MCC, the JIRA ticket number. So basically that carries all those details, and you can map it back to that ticket. This field was requested through this ticket. So I always mention that MCC ticket in my description field. And so this basically covers all these points: the purpose, who requested it, what does it support, all that. And then, of course, you have to have a brief goal of what that field is supposed to achieve. And then, of course, as most of you must be knowing, that in formulas, we have the ability to add the comment. So what you can add through the syntax /*/. Basically, this explains what your formula is doing, and each part of the formula can be broken with a comment. It kind of is a textual explanation of your formula. So then these are some examples. So this is documentation by object and release. So as I mentioned earlier, that documentation can be made for the release. So this is like a typical Excel document. And that config workbook is also like an Excel sheet, which has been your org is basically all the metadata from your org is drawn into this workbook, right? So basically, then the how-to documents. There's one more native tool that we have for documentation, and that is in-app guidance. So that's all the time improving, and now you can include videos in your in-app or guidance. It can really explain, it's basically a walkthrough and it helps in the end user adoption. There's a short video which is really interesting, and maybe we can have a look at it. You might be tired of my voice. So here it is. I'll just.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tim Dubois, and I'm the product manager for the in-app guidance product at Salesforce. Welcome to the Summer 20 release of in-app guidance that is now featuring walkthroughs. If you are familiar with in-app guidance from previous releases, this will look similar, but you can now author multi-step prompts, or what we call walkthroughs. In-app guidance is exciting because it lets you embed the learning directly into the app where it has the most context for the user, whether it's highlighting changes in the apps or onboarding new users. And remember, there's no browser plugin, security issues, or performance impacts. It's all built into the platform, and it's simple and quick. Okay, let's get started.
So
The in-app guidance setup page is much the same as it was in previous releases. You'll note that you will now see walkthroughs as a type of guidance. Otherwise, very similar functionality as before with views, completes, and rollable actions like cloning. All right, let's take a look at an existing one. And now you'll see the first step of the walkthrough appear. This is highlighting the recently viewed list for opportunities and recommending to pin the list to save some clicks. When you click on Next, it's going to navigate you into the first record. And here it's talking about the highlights panel where you can get some summary information. Clicking one more time on the Next, it will bring you to the details section. And here it's telling you that you can go ahead and make some changes to the details. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's make a change. You'll notice that as I make the change, the prompt is not going to go away until I dismiss it. And by the way, we added a nice handle to let you drag the prompt out of the way if it happens to be blocking something. Now when I click Next this time, it's actually navigating to a whole new app and new page. And we're ending on a doc prompt. Here we have a video you can play in line. This allows users to get the information right in the app. You can also maximize this out, check out some text underneath the video. You can also minimize it so you can take care of those actions later on. We've also added an action, a call to action button. In this case, it's opening up my trailhead, but this is a configurable link that you could have linked anywhere. Okay, now let's jump back to the in-app guidance setup page and see how that walkthrough was created. Opening the walkthrough in Edit brings up the authoring UI for in-app guidance.
So this was just to show you how in-app guidance works within Salesforce to walk your end users through a process and help them. So video is there, and when I share you the document, you can definitely access from there. So process diagram, this is what I was talking about, was it templates, these architecture, Salesforce Architect templates, which can be a starting point for a lot of your documentation. So these are the architect diagrams, design patterns, and then these are different business processes. If you are taking BA exams, business analyst exam, these do come in the exam. So these will be helpful. Business process styles, SIPOC diagram, which is basically suppliers inputs, process outputs, and customers. Business process styles, all these different documenting. Diagramming is really a great way to document your processes, and I love diagrams. It's really explains well, and it's a great supplement to any documentation. So then this is just an example of a process that you can use pictures, and you can make all these bulleted points and walk through the objects, actors, and actions. So one can always standardize the process. You can have a beginning and the end, and make a videography out of it, or you can just plain diagrams or just lines, whatever is your preferred style of documentation. So where do you start? Basically, baby steps are okay. As business essential processes, start documenting as you go. Automated processes that cross multiple objects.
अच्छा एक बात चल ठीक है मैंने दोनों और बात दिए ना अगले में ओपनिंग है ना
Yeah. Okay. So what tools can I use? I already discussed these, not endorsing any particular one, but these are commonly used. Notion, I will invite Sunil to just give a little introduction and capability of Notion. And I will ask Krish to also talk about the video. He's basically, as per Tiago Forte, he abbreviated code as a process for documenting, which means capture, organize, capture, organize, distill, and express. So he has expressed his knowledge very well through his videos, and you can ask him any question on how he has created the videos. Some of them are gaining a lot of traction, and he's got a lot of visibility through them. So, but that's how he has created his second brain, by creating videos and a YouTube channel. So let me finish, and then I will invite them both. What format should I use? You can have the following components: use case, steps to complete tasks. So be simple use case, or it's just a list of steps. Who requested the functionality, why the functionality was requested, date and time the functionality went live. So when should I document? Anytime there's a change, anytime there's a new functionality, when there's a management decision that changes things, anytime existing the documentation is broken or no longer helpful. So these are the other additional resources that are there. And these are the templates. And I also created a channel in Slack, which basically captures the idea bank or awesome ideas. You can have external versus internal ideas. You can categorize as per your choice, but there are several ways. And then I also created these tutorials by object, etc. So main challenge is to organize all your documentation. And that some people prefer through categorization, some people prefer through the activity you do. The thing is that you need to make it searchable, and it should be well organized, so that 1,000 videos down the line, 1,000 documents down the line, you can still search them efficiently. So that's called, so as per Tiago Forte, he says, capture your ideas or capture the interesting things, organize them well. Distill means remove all the unnecessary information, all the frills, all the necessary things, remove it, and then express it in a short, effective manner. So this was all about the documentation part. I'll invite Sunil to give a little presentation on Notion. What can it do?
All right, can I share my screen? Shiva, can I share my screen?
You're on mute, Mom.
Oh, sorry. I'll make you the co-host. 1 second.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me just see 1 second. To share my screen. All right, can you see my screen? Oh, not yet. Good, thanks.
Not yet.
All right, can you see my screen now?
Yeah.
Right. All right, so like maybe people can write down in the chat, like if they used Notion before, or have you heard about Notion? Yes, no, thumbs up. Yeah, some people nodding heads. Yeah, thanks, Louis. Anyway, so a lot of like Notion is basically it's tool. It's like Confluence, but it's like different. You can like, let's go with it looks something like this. It can be a black background or the white background if you want it, depending upon what dark mode is. It can do multiple things, and it has multiple uses. So basically what you can do is like for the pricing, people say, okay, you can try for free, you can get started for free, you can start with free stuff and play around with it. The key thing, we use Notion a lot. We have a nonprofit. We use everything like what Shiba was talking about on the documentation side. Everything is documented through Notion. And we keep so much stuff there, and we can share the file with people. And either internally, the benefit of Notion is like you can do a lot of things. Like you can pick up a template to get started with, just to pick up a sample, anything you want to pick up. Like you can start, like say, you're a freelancer, your templates over here. You can health and wellness. So you can even keep it for your personal use, as well as like you have like any kind of marketing, any your brand assets that you might have, like the task list is there. So you just pick up a template and you can start using it, right? This is like your quite similar to your, like say Jira ticket, like Jira or a Kanban board, right? Or even a Salesforce file. You can actually keep on moving the stuff around. Once you do it, you can set the boards the way you want to set it up. And there are many more things you can do with it too. This is like a different kind of brand assets. For example, like you say, okay, a lot of companies or like any kind of people, okay, where do I keep my logos? Where can I keep that stuff? So basically that's your like a marketing image, all the different things that you can save over there too, right? So, and also like for people who are like studying kind of stuff, like I know like Shelly was saying, hey, you're studying for the like BA stuff, and where do you find your resources, right? Sometimes you go and you can also take a snip tool from someplace and you can just paste it over there too, right? So it's very easy to, like if I take this and you take a snapshot of anything like a chat, let me just show it to you. Let's see, new.
Sunil?
One second, yeah. So basically what happened, for example, I took a snip and just put a snip over there. So for example, if I'm attending a kind of a meeting right now and say, okay, hey, I found a nice slide, I take a snip, I can just save it to the Notion too. Also like Krish, he can talk a little bit more. He actually made his website. That's also based on Notion. But if you see on the domain on the top, it's like your Notion website. But in the background is all Notion. So, and he can just his projects, he's got on Salesforce projects and all the different things that he's working on, right? Kind of thing.
I guess I could talk about that, but
yeah. Go ahead. Okay, Krish, go ahead.
Can you share my screen? Or can you let me share my screen?
Yeah, Sunil, you can stop sharing anything.
I can stop you, sorry, yeah, stop share, okay. Yep.
Do you see my screen?
Yeah, I see your camera screen.
Sure, cool. So this is, I just made a quick slide deck, but this is basically code, and code is essentially this concept that Tiago Forte made. And just a brief overview of who I am. I'm 4X certified admin and platform app builder, platform developer 1, and UX experience designer. I have a computer science background, so I have like developer background. And I also, fun fact, I attended there's a nonprofit community sprint essentially and I attended that, and that was a really awesome experience. So if anyone has questions about it, please, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, and I'm open to answering questions. But so this is the author of this was Tiago Forte, who he actually got this concept by teaching people how to, he was in like Eastern Europe, or basically in a very rural place teaching people, and he found a lot of people couldn't retain information well, and it was like very primitive ways of learning. So basically he was a teacher, and he brought over these techniques to business. So that's kind of where the concept came from. And so code is this framework that's called capture, organize, distill, and express. So capturing is very easy to do anything. So like say capturing pictures from your phone, even capturing knowledge, say I want to write something down or something, it's all scattered. So then you organize it into pages. So then you're like, okay, this is one thing, this is another thing, and then another thing. Then you have to distill it down, and then you express it to the world. So also tying it to my developer experience, I think there's also what is good code, and code is also like modular. It's like a block, and it's also like well documented, so other people can build on top of it. So I think code is very useful in coding as well. So just like a pun, but so I'm going to talk about express. So pretty much expressing your thoughts into the world. So basically the two ways I express my knowledge, and it's primarily Salesforce knowledge, is through YouTube and the website. So I can show you the website first. So this is a video of the Salesforce community sprint. So if anyone wants some knowledge about it, they can go to my YouTube channel, and I have a video on it. And basically, you can go to my website as well. And then usually I have like content that's like basically I have notes down, and I have a blog post corresponding to the video, and I'll essentially have like a lot of thoughts written down in advance and then make the video. And basically that's kind of how I express your thoughts to the world. So I think this is a very good framework for anyone in business, as like a lot of businesses need to document their orgs. And I would say videos are not as hard as they seem to make. And also building blog posts are really easy for anyone and very accessible. So these are two options that are really awesome. So yeah, that's my presentation. And feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. So yeah.
If anyone has any questions from Krish or Sunil or me, please feel free to ask right now.
Okay, the question to everybody is, how many people are making videos? I know somebody said, like Luis was, I guess, like nodding her head. Who else is there? How many people are there?
I've done videos, but not with Salesforce. I've done I'm an online grader for boot camps, and so I've done video training guides basically to help other graders. Yeah, they are really useful. It does take a little time though to kind of get it right.
Yeah, I guess like the two ways to do it. One is to like when you're like publishing to the world, like what Krish was saying, it has to be very nice because you expose it to the world. But for internal documentation, you can have two kind of videos. If you're doing something quick and dirty, like a scratch pad, you also like, if people might not know, in Slack, there's a kind of video clip tool. You got Loom is there. A lot of free tools are there. Even Zoom, you can take a free Zoom and record yourself too, right? And you can record the processes, and you can keep a quick note for yourself for later use, right? Kind of thing. It's still like a capture way to do it, rather than trying to document. Like I find it videos are much better than like you take even like a Salesforce action like that, right? I try something new tool, how to go about this way, I forget about it, right? So take a quick video, put a clip, and you're done with it, right? Kind of
like I see like Chinmai in the chat, she said similar thing like to what you're saying. Basically, while she works on Salesforce, for her reference in the future, she does like a video. But I would say it's really important to like think about, this is a concept in Amazon called customer obsession that just really sticks to me, where it's like really like being client focused. So I think it's important to make videos for people who are like the end user to a client, and it really makes you stick. It makes your concept stick in your head when you're expressing. So I think it's really important to express to the world in a way that people can understand. So yeah,
I think it's a lot easier when you're doing a video because it's the audio and the visual, depending on if you're doing it that way, rather than that written documentation. For me as a learner, that I find that easier to follow as well.
And also, I see you've got a perfect green screen in the back. You can be anywhere, right? Kind of thing. I don't know.
Also, can I request everyone to open your cameras for a bit and make some sign, maybe heart or something? It would be nice to, yeah, like, can you open their camera, or else if you're not comfortable doing that, you can make the reaction and I will take a clip. You know, the reaction of the heart, yeah. Yeah, one more time. One more time, if you can make your reaction and I can, yeah. Can you make a heart sign, Chinmaya? So 1, 2.
She's on the phone.
Perfect. Okay, great. Yeah, little before we go off, let me share my screen again.
How often do you guys do these Zooms?
We used to do monthly.
Okay.
Yeah, now we little bit do it like bi-monthly.
Yeah, with the holidays coming.
Yeah, I want to do it in person actually now.
Yes, for sure. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, so some useful information from the community. Trailblazer DX is coming up soon, March 7 to 8 in San Francisco, and it will be also on Salesforce Plus, so please do register. And don't live on a solo admin island, get connected with your Trailblazer community group, local Trailblazer community group. And there's this interesting picture. If you want to just take a clip, you can have this events calendar, which is basically all the events from all over the place. Everywhere in the world, you get a good snip of who's doing what, and then you can not miss any event that you would really be interested in. So I have already shared this, so or you can take a snip right now and check it out. Also, registration is live for the next in-person community sprint event, which is on January 17th and 18th in London. But if you're interested in the non-profit world, it's also available virtually. You can participate in the sprint virtually as well from your own living room. And I attended, along with Krish, the one which just happened in November in San Francisco. And he has created a very creative video to summarize the event. So if you want to catch it, look it up. There's a motivational quote for everyone: fall down, get up, and never give up. So, and my latest certifications were business analyst and associate certifications. Can you share yours in the chat? And I already shared this. This is my contact information, the Salesforce admin group information I already shared in the chat. And thank you, everyone. You are the heart of the Trailblazer Ohana. I give it over to one more thing. I wanted to have a quiz. So let's have a quick quiz. Can you see the quiz?
Yeah.
Stuff. Give it a try.
We can say, but I think we cannot select the
Is it?
answers. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think it's
I can see
because
the
you're a
host
host.
so you cannot see it.
Yeah.
I can select it.
You can select. Yeah, I saw one person selecting it.
No,
You're a host, so you
Amma,
can't.
you're the host, so you
okay.
can't see it.
Oh, okay. Hosts cannot, but others can. You want to participate? I can actually unselect you, make you,
No, that's fine.
yeah, you're next. So keep going, everyone. There are 5 questions. Seven, 8 out of 20. Let me reach till 12 and then I will stop. So everyone give it a try. We have to get used to multiple choice, as that's the certifications, right? So giving you a practice. So we have reached 13. One more and I'm going to share now. Okay, I'm going to end the poll now. All right, 75% done. 80% done. Looks like people are going for it, so I'll wait for people. Okay, ending poll now. Let me share result, and I can also share screen with everyone. All right. So in-app guidance was launched in which year? 2019. Perfect. When creating a process map, what is the first high-level step? Gather. No, I think it is identify the process to map.
We can't see your screen, Shiva, on the poll results, I guess.
Oh, you can't see the, that's weird.
I can see your
Can you see now?
the QR codes. I can see QR codes.
We see resource page.
Oh, okay. Let me share again. Share screen. Okay. Do you see it?
No, I see your Zoom back.
The bay. Yay.
If who's talking, somebody else's.
Oh, then maybe I'm not able to share that. 1 second. So let's just finish this off. Which one of these options is a principle?
I can try sharing my screen. I have the thing up.
No, it's okay. We have to keep going. So limit of 8 to 10 activity boxes. Yes, that's right on the screen. Very important question in business analyst exam will be of UPM. When assessing a new process, which type of diagram should be used to identify waste within and between processes? It's value stream map. No, very few people got that right. When a business analyst maps processes, which option is the best practice? Validate maps. Yes, that most people got right. So that's it from me, and I'll give it over to Amma now to present her presentation on tutorial on flow. Amma is our new community leader. Everybody please give her applause. She became a new community leader, and it's a big.
Thank you. Thank you, Shiba. Thank you, Shiba, Sunil, Chris, for that amazing presentation on documentation. It was, I hope it is so helpful for every one of us. So let me share my screen. I'm going to give a demo on sending anniversary email using flows. So can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. Thank you. So this is for me. I'm working as a senior Salesforce consultant at Atlas of Sri Lanka. I am recently this is my first event after I became the community group leader of Salesforce Women in Tech Community Colombo, Sri Lanka. I'm 7 times certified in Salesforce. My entire professional experience falls into Salesforce, and I'm completing like more than 6 years of experience now. And I'm a triple star ranger. So today I'm going to do a scenario like there is a company called ABC and they want to send anniversary wishes for a contact from the date when a contact became a customer, and whenever the anniversary is reached, they want to send a mail to those customers thanking them for being with them as being with that company as customers until they became ex-customers. They are sending that emails. So for that anniversary emails, first I have identified what are the things that we need to do. First, we need to identify what are the types of contacts available we should add. So for that, we need to add the pick list field to the contact object, and then we have to track when a contact became a customer. So there are like 2 possible scenarios. A contact can be created as a customer, or else a contact may be created in the prospect as a prospect and then converted into a customer. So we need to track when particularly at what date the contact became a customer. So we need a date field on the contact record to capture that, and we can use a record trigger flow on the contact to update that field. So the next thing is sending the anniversary email based on the date when the customer became the contact became a customer. So for that, I'm going to use a schedule trigger flow. So that's it. That is about this screen, the presentation PowerPoint screen. Let's go to the org. So you can see my org, right? So the first thing I'm going to do, in order for us to capture the contact type, we need the, I'm going to create a pick list field on the contact object. This is a very brand new org that I created only for this presentation. So let's go and create our first field. So pick list, and I'm going to name it as type, and I'm going to enter the values like prospects and then customer, and we can have the S customers as well. So I'm going to keep the other things as itself, and let's give access to everyone and add it to every layout. Now the second field I want to create is a date field to track when the customer became a when a contact became a customer. So for that, I'm going to create a date field. I'm going to name it as became a customer on. So and the API name is populated, and then I'm going to make it available for all the profile and going to add layouts. And next, I need the formula field. Why I need a formula field is to schedule the trigger to send the emails on the anniversaries. I need to check the day and month of the became customer date field is matching with the day and month of today's date. So for that, I'm going to add a formula field. I'm going to call it as day and month became a customer. And then I'm going to keep it as a text field because I'm going to get only the text value of the date field that we have created already. So for this formula field, I'm going to add, I'm going to get the text value of the day of become a customer on that field, and I'm going to add a space between the second part, that is the text value of month of when the date field. So this is how my formula looks like. We can add the description, help test if you want, and this formula field we can keep it hidden from the layout, but I'm going to add to the layouts because then we can see what are the values populating there. So I'm going to save. We created only 3 fields now for the contact object. So is it clear for all of you, or do you have any doubt on those fields creation? If you have any doubt, please speak up or raise the question in chat so I can check. After creating the fields, now we want to update the became the customer date field on contact. I'm going to use the record trigger flow for that. So we are going to create a record trigger flow for the contact object. So I'm going to the flows and then new flow. So this we can use this flow instead of writing triggers or using the coding. We can simply use the flows, and as you may already aware, process builders, validation rule, workflow rules are going to process builders and workflow rules are not going to support in future, so we can use these flows. So as this is for the contact object and record can be created to update as a customer, so I'm going to select record is created or update, and we are going to update the field on the contact, same records field. So I'm going to select pass field update. So I'm not adding any condition within here because we can use this record trigger flow for any other future pass field updates based on the record creation or update in the context. So I'm going to keep it like that, and always remember to save the flow, otherwise we will lose whatever we done. So I'm going to save it as record trigger flow on contact, and then I'm going to now we have to add a condition. So we have to check the contact type. So is customer, so the API name, and I'm going to add I'm going to get the records, that means what we are getting from the record trigger flow, and the type. If the type equal to customer and then that field is updated to customer or populated, then only this record trigger flow will go to this next path, that is to update the triggering record. So update the contact. So whatever the contact coming to this, we are going to update. So I'm going to use the contact record, the triggering flow, and I'm not going to add any condition. I'm going to take this became a customer on. I'm going to add the today's date, the date. So for that I need the formula called today, and data type equal to date, and the value of today we are going to get using the today, that date function, And so this is how our record trigger flow will looks like, and I'm going to activate it. So, and now let's go and test our record trigger flow. So yeah, bear with me that I can see that upper bar, so I'm unable to process it. So let's create some contacts. I'm going to go to the app launcher and I'm going to select the service app. So here, let's create some 3 different contacts. One for the prospect, and then we'll update to customer, and another one for customer, and one for customers. Let's create the contacts. So I'm going to keep this same first name, but for last name I'm going to add, for one it is prospect, and then the email, don't forget to add the email because we are going to try a send email action. So we can make this a required field, but for now I am keeping it as like this, how it is, and we need to add the type as this is the prospect. I'm going to create it, so you can see the become customer on that field is blank. So that's all. Let's save and see what's happened to that field, because this is not updated to customer yet. So that field is blank. Let's update this to customer and we'll see. It should populate it with today's date. So got it. And today's date is 19 in IST. So we got that, and the day and month, it also populated like that. So let's create another contact. I'm going to create this contact as a customer. And I'm going to give the email. This email I created only for this demo so that we can see the email when it is populated. So let's save and see what's happened to that became a customer field. If our flow is working fine, yeah, that field should populate. This field is populated for today's date, but as I want to test an anniversary email, we are going to demo the anniversary email trigger is. I'm going to manually update this to last year, just for this demo because I don't have last year contacts here. So now let's create another one, that just to make sure our next flow is not triggering when it is a ex customer. I'm keeping the same email. You can from the for the last name we can verify whether for which one we got the email. I'm going to keep this as a customer, and I'm going to update the type to ex customer afterwards. So as it is a customer, the became customer field should populate, and I'm going to update it to ex customer, and I'm going to update this to last year date just to check whether our schedule trigger flow, what will happen in the schedule trigger flow. So we have 3 different customers. So let's go to our setup. What I'm going to do now is, now we have to schedule this anniversary email sending function. But before that, something to remember, that we have to add a organization wild address, because we are going to try a email triggering. So for that, there should be an organization wild address. So let's go to that, and I'm going to add my this orgs email for that. Okay, so for this I'm going to keep like this, and let's save. And after save, you have to verify your email. So yeah, now we can continue. Now what we have to do is go back to the setup, and there, after setting the organization wide address, we have to add this address to process automation setting. So let's go to the process automation setting. We have to do two things. We have to add the default workflow user, and then we have to add our organization wide default address, where we can use to this automated process user email address. So I'm going to save it. Then we can start to do our schedule trigger flow. Is it clear so far?
Yes, Amma. It's very nicely used,
Okay.
explained step by step. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So now let's go for the schedule trigger flow. Okay. One thing I just remember, when going to add the schedule trigger flow, we have to set the organization time. Let me go back to the setup, and we'll update the organization time there. Go to the company information, because otherwise I don't know, I have to convert the time because I'm checking my current system time. So let's go to the company information to set the current time, my locality time. Otherwise we have to wait till this flow is triggering without knowing the time zone. So as I'm in the IST time zone, I'm going to plus 5:30 Indian Standard. Okay. So let's save it. And then back to our flow builder. So today, now it is 10:40 a.m. for us. So I'm going to set the time to like 10:45. Let's see within whether I can do it within 5 minutes. So I'm going to set the frequency as daily, because daily this flow should check whether there is matching to this send the anniversary email. So I'm going to save this flow as anniversary wish flow. So the API name I'm going to save. And now first thing, I need to get the records. So I want to get the get contact records. So here the object is contact. Why we want to get the contact record is, for contacts only we are going to send the email. For that, first we have to get the matching contacts which has the anniversary date equal to today. So became a customer, it should not be today. So for that I'm going to add the another as for this formula also, this flow also we have to add the formula same as for the previous one, the today formula. So and then we have to check whether it is a customer. So the contact type equal to customer, and the day and month became a customer should equal to today's day and month. For that, I'm going to again create a formula. And that is again a test. We have to create the fields. This formula should be equal to the formula we have created previously on the content. Only different is instead of using the became a customer field, I'm going to use today and plus so let's put as done, and then we need to, I'm going to short this using the contact ID, and we need all the records matching with this condition, all the contact records. And then I'm going to save these contact records in a collection variable. So I'm going to create a new collection variable. So it is a variable contacts, let's say it as customer to email. And then data type is record, and we need to allow multiple values. So object is contact, then done. And here we can add the fields like first name, last name, email. So I'm going to add these fields. These values we need to store. So let's make it done and we'll save. And as this get record will give a collection of records, I'm going to add a loop. I'm going to make it, we have to loop through contacts, and then the collection variable we have created, and keep it as first item to last item. And then here only I'm going to send the email, but for that I need a email template. So I'm going to create a test template. For that I'm going to say as anniversary wish, and for the body I'm going to say hi, the last name, because for the first name I add always test. So let's select the last name. Hi, and body like thanks for the company name ABC. We can add a very nice template as well, because it is a rich text allowed. So now let's add the action to send email. So you can select the action component and then send email. So here I'm going to put it as send anniversary email, and body that we have created, and the subject happy anniversary with us, something like that. And then for the recipient, we are going to use the comma separated because we are getting one by one. Current item and the email. And then yes, we can add the rich text enable. And then for sender email, I'm just going to put the my org's email. Done. That's it. Now it is 10:47. Let's make it for 10:48. So activate, and then go to the email, and we have to wait. Until we are waiting, is there anything in the chat?
No, I don't see that.
Yeah.
I
So
have a question. So if it is,
yeah,
you did text and template, right? So can you add image to
yeah.
template?
It is a rich text template. I think we can add image to the document and add the image URL to the template, but I haven't tried, but I think we can because it is a rich text template. So we got the email only to the customer so far. See, correctly at 10:48, 10:48, we got only to the customer. We didn't get the email for as customer, even though it is anniversary reached. We didn't get to the prospect, which were turned into customer as the date is today's date. So do you have any other questions? So this is the reference that I use. I can put in the chat for doing this schedule trigger flow. I use this reference. So is there
Awesome.
any? Thank you.
It's a nice one. I guess everybody can try it out because we'll have a video posted, and it's something very nice to try it out.
Yeah.
I'm
And
sure a lot
also
of
Sheba remembered that Thanksgiving is coming, so maybe you can try this schedule trigger flow to send this Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you can have multiple uses too, like for any industry too. Like it's like you can have for the birthday wish, you can have it
Yeah.
for the anniversary, but similar kind of concept, right?
Yeah.
But for the birthday, it has to be reset, right? Because next year you have to send.
Yeah, for
Or is it
birthday,
same?
yeah, same thing we yeah, that is the thing. But yeah, this schedule trigger flow maybe for 1 year we can use, and after that we have to update the template if it is
No, but
using
thing
for
is for
the
the birthday,
birthday.
like it's pretty straightforward. Happy birthday, right? That's all, right? So, and just simple happy birthday. We can keep on changing the image every year. So every year you get a different image, but you can actually automatically again looking at the date, right?
Amma, did you post that link? You said you'll be posting Episara.
Yeah, I put in the chat
I don't see it.
the.
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't see
did
it
I
either.
send to a direct message? So let me share again.
Great. Everybody's appreciating your flow.
Thank you.
Also, it's nice you did it all from
Thank you.
scratch. You did it all from the scratch. That's nice too, because sometimes people forget why the date goes in, the email is not set up, and small things like that too, right?
Yeah, if I did it before doing the demo, then those things, if I forget to inform when you guys start to do it, you guys will stuck, you guys get the errors in the schedule trigger flow. So that's why I thought to do
Yeah, but it's good to see all the steps, because what happens is sometimes the email is not set up, or the time is not set up, and all those things, right? So
yeah.
good.
Thank you, Sunny.
Thank you.
So anyone, do you have any question or anything to share with us? Oh, any feedback? Anything?
I'm definitely going to try doing it after the session ends.
Wow. Thank you, Krish. Share, tell me what happened, how it goes.
So Krish
Maybe you
tried
can
to
try
make
with a very
the
nice
first flow
template.
Krish tried to make was a birthday flow. Wait, long time back, it was slightly different methodology. He got stuck
Okay.
up, right? That's why you got to try again in different way too. So
Or like it worked and then it broke. So
Oh.
I'm gonna try this way.
so now you have expert on call. You can call her up later on and ask her too later.
Yeah. I think we are connected in LinkedIn, isn't it? I accepted your
Okay.
request, Krish.
Yeah. Well done.
So
anyone else?
any of us who presented, please let us know. I know it's late for some of us, early morning for the others, I don't know. But feel free to ask any questions at this point. I can stop the recording now, right?
Yep.